Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 3 of the Redzone Rewind. I'm Jake Schulz.
I'm Zulfi Sheikh.
And we asked for action. I think we got our action.
Just a little bit.
I want to dub this little segment before we get into the actual conversations, the Weekend of Chaos, because there has just been so much to talk about this weekend. A lot of upsets as well. Let's get into some of these. Dolphins, nice little 70 burger to start off their game. Broncos country went on a ride, losing 70-20. 8 touchdowns between the two running backs with Mostert and A-Chain. Oh my God.
Broncos have a lot, and I mean a lot, to figure out. And honestly, I cannot wait to see the backlash from all of this. Sean Payton talked a lot coming into the season, especially about the job that Nathaniel Hackett did. Nathaniel Hackett didn't have his team giving up 70 points. No. So Sean Payton, Vic Fangio, figure it out.
You want to talk about someone else that should figure out? Brandon Staley going for it on his own 25-yard line in the fourth quarter in the dying minutes when they're up by 4. We talked about Staley last week, not going for it on fourth down, and then he just does the complete opposite. And Vikings still lost. They still threw a pick. Vicar Cousins still threw a pick and lost that, and they're now 0-3. And in one-score games, they're also 0-3.
Kirk Cousins is on pace to throw for like 6,000 yards and win 0 games. It is a very bizarre season, but that's pretty much the Minnesota Vikings. One year they're good, one year they're bad. And then they're back good, and now we're back to the bad this year. And I just don't know what to make of this Vikings team. 0-3, their season's practically over at this point, and I hate to say that so early. Maybe they're going to be the team to go make history and make it to the playoffs, but the numbers are just against them now.
You want to talk about history? So it's going to be forever, or it's going to go down in flames. That is Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game. The rumors the entire weekend. And if you didn't even watch a single second of football, don't worry. It was on every single social media thing. Taylor Swift, officially the guest of honor for Travis Kelce. Got a little touchdown for her as well. As the Chiefs just kill the Bears once again, because the Bears are done this year.
I'll try to get to the Bears later. I don't want to get to them now. I think the name the Bears is part of the problem. I think Chicago is just a problem in and of itself. And if Taylor Swift is the most exciting thing about that game, that says a lot about the Chicago Bears. But hey, a dub's a dub for the Chiefs. Taylor Swift had fun with Donna Kelce, having a great time in the suite. So good for them. They had a lot of fun. And the Travis Kelce, man, jersey sales through the roof. The Taylor Swift effect is no joke.
Swifties aren't real.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh.
Swifties this weekend have skyrocketed just about everything related to that game. The Travis Kelce jersey sales up 400%. New Balance 550s that Taylor Swift was wearing, they're trending right now. The Chiefs' new era jacket that Taylor Swift was wearing. Every Swiftie wants one. It's kind of insane and a little scary, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But hey, it's helping numbers all across the board, and if more fans are going to watch football, I'm sure the NFL's happy about it.
I'm sure they are. You know who's not happy? The New Orleans Saints, up 17-0 in the fourth. Derek Carr goes down with an injury. We're going to see if he's going to be playing. I don't think he will.
He landed on it weird. They call it an AC joint injury. He hasn't been ruled out for week 4, but it's not looking likely.
No. And Jameis Winston came in, did put his team in position to win after the Green Bay Packers came back flying. Did not happen, though. No. Blake Grubb, 46 yards, skies it to the right. Saints now 2-1 as the Packers have a nice recovery and also go to 2-1.
Yeah, great game for the Packers to come back. Shows a lot of resilience, especially from a team with a young quarterback being able to pull that off. And I know the Saints are going to say they lost Derek Carr, and that's why they lost this game. You're up 17-0 in the fourth quarter. That is not a game you should lose, especially a Saints team that has a chance to possibly win the NFC South. But now, with every other NFC South team losing, you're in the same spot you were. You basically had that game won, and you lost it, and you were able to gain 0 ground in your division. That's a tough L for the Saints.
Another tough L, the Raiders, after Jimmy Garoppolo, who's getting killed the whole game, got folded like an accordion at one point, out with a concussion. And Josh McDaniels, forgetting that 2-point conversions exist in the league, going to kick the field goal at the end of the game instead of trying to get a touchdown to tie it. Well, I don't know what the hell was going through his head at that point.
I just think this Raiders team lacks a complete sense of identity and urgency with Josh McDaniels. He tries to get too cute with the analytics and stuff sometime. Like, at the end of the day, you're a Raiders team that not many people have expectations for. It's early in the season. Just go and try to steal a win. Like, just make something out of it, and if you get that, that's awesome. The momentum's all going to be on your side, and if you don't, well, you're kind of just the same Raiders, and it's not the end of the world. But when you don't go for it and you kick that field goal, you just look like a shell of a team that has no courage.
Shell of a team, Zach Wilson and the New York Jets lost once again, 15-10 to the New England Patriots. After a near Hail Mary, Randall Cobb could not catch it, but the Patriots hold on, get their first win of the season.
Look, I'll be the first to try to bag on the Patriots for being in a close game against the Jets. and barely getting it done and being a Randall Cobb crazy catch away from probably losing that game, very likely. But at the end of the day, in the NFL, it's hard to get wins. A win is a win. The Patriots got one. Like we talked about, being 0-3, your chances of doing anything in that season are very slim, but the Patriots aren't going to be in that boat. They picked up the W, and for them, it's a win. They kind of have to try to build some momentum on it. You need to see what their offense can do. But, hey, you got the job done.
Talk about backwards momentum. Sam Howell closing out our weekend of chaos. 4 picks against the Bills. He looks awful.
He got sacked 9 times. He looked awful, but his team did no service trying to help him out. 9 times being sacked. First game with the new ownership there, Joshua Harris and Magic Johnson watching. They're probably wondering, hey, do we need a new quarterback? Who knows? They spent a lot of money on this team, and they're going to want a good product out there soon. So it's a lot of questions with that Washington team.
All right, let's get to the 3 major upsets of this weekend. Zulfi, let's start with the Colts and the Ravens after the Colts picking up the win in overtime. A little bit of a controversy there with the 4th down and Zay Flowers. Was it pass interference? Was it not pass interference? But Gardner Minshew and the Colts, 2-1 on the season as they upset the Ravens. What did you think of that game?
Look, I could talk about this game and talk about the Ravens disappointing after being winning their first 2 games, being 2-0 in the league. But I think I want to focus a lot more on the Colts and give them the flowers they deserve. No pun intended. I think they have a great defense that showed out. Gardner Minshew showed what this team's capable of. Michael Pittman Jr. is a dog. Yeah. That dude is just a baller of an athlete, and he shows up for this Colts team. Does not get enough love, I think. And this Colts team is in a division where they very easily could take it. They came in with 0 expectations. You saw a bit of what Anthony Richardson can do, but then Gardner Minshew coming in and just being that kind of like security blanket. When you have him in there, you don't know what you're going to get all the time, but when he's rolling and he's going, you just know he's electric. And he came in there, did his job, and this Colts team is now showing they have the momentum to really do something here. They're probably a couple snaps that bounced their way away from being 3-0, to be quite honest. They were in those first 2 games. They won their second game against the Texans, and they kind of blew out the waters. The first game, they were really in it for a big chunk of it against the Jaguars, and then things didn't go their way. So they easily could have been undefeated, but now they're 2-1, and they can possibly take this division, and they have a decent chance of it, to be quite honest. So I don't really want to focus on the Ravens today. I want to focus on the Colts and give them the flowers they deserve because their momentum is on their side, and they're showing they have the pieces there even without Jonathan Taylor.
I think this just also shows how important Shane Steichen is. We see this with the Eagles, regardless of them still winning. There's something missing there, and I think Shane Steichen is that piece. He has these boys humming.
Yeah.
And this is without a run game, too. Like, Zach Moss has been resurrected from the dead. He was nothing on the Bills. He was getting healthy scratches, and now he's putting up Jonathan Taylor numbers. And speaking of Jonathan Taylor, we are 1 week away from him coming back to that team. And if they're 3-1 going into that territory with Jonathan Taylor about to play for the team, it's good stuff around the corner for them.
It's all going to be dependent on attitude, I think. The attitude and the vibes of his team are very good right now. Jonathan Taylor is trying to figure out his own situation personally and financially, and by all means do what you have to do. But his attitude is going to be very important and how he fits on this team, and if he's going to mess with any of that. Again, Shane Steichen, like you said, has this team humming, and he's not going to want anything to get in the way of that most likely. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's move to another team that has been very disappointing so far. 1-2 on the season is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are threatening to pull out of Jacksonville, I might add, with their whole arena. Will it be built? Will it not be built? I don't know what's going on there. But 37-17 to the Texans as C.J. Stroud, 4 touchdowns, no picks on the season, blow out the Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence looks lost out there.
Look, I think this Texans team is so much fun. C.J. Stroud, most passing yards their first 3 games as a rookie. Like, that just shows he is slinging that thing. He's showing no fear, and I think that's important. He's going to make mistakes. It's not always going to look pretty, but we say this so much about veteran quarterbacks, let alone rookie quarterback. You just have to have some courage sometimes to try it. Throw the ball down, see what happens. And guys like Tank Dell, another rookie that they drafted, is just showing that
breakout game for him.
Yeah, absolute baller. I think this team is a lot of fun. They're going to be a bit of a spoiler in this conference and in their division, and I think this speaks a lot to what they can do and kind of like the wild card they can be. But like you said, the Jaguars, I'm just very unimpressed with them so far. The Chiefs game, like, yeah, you understand it. Things can go either way. But this offense was supposed to be a lot better. You added Calvin Ridley. Doug Peterson's there for another year. He wasn't calling the plays, but then he decided he needed to call the play halfway through this game. And fortunate for them, they started scoring. But that says a lot about their play caller, Press Taylor, who I believe is Zach Taylor's brother, which is kind of a neat tidbit there. But I think it just speaks to this team that has a lot to figure out still. We kind of saw them as they were just about there. They need to take that next leap. And a lot of people expected them to take that leap. But a loss like today just shows that they're still a ways away from that, and they really need to get together. They have the Falcons in London. It's going to be an odd time, different situation for them having to travel. But that's a must-win game, in my opinion, for this Jaguars team.
It's also their home turf. That's basically their home away from home at this point. I want to talk about Ridley a little bit because Ridley came in immediately, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, he's going to be great. 8 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown in the first game. Since then, 5 catches, 72 yards, and no touchdowns. I feel like the chemistry is just off with Trevor Lawrence and his receivers right now. I'm not seeing a lot going on. And Trevor is known as a guy that can come out and sling the ball, and they're not doing it to the effect that they did last year. And it's weird to watch happen because everyone had so much expectations on this team, and they're just not clicking.
I think it goes back to the whole play calling thing. It just hasn't been there. Like, you're right, the chemistry doesn't seem to be around. Obviously, teams are going to see Calvin Ridley is still that guy. So they're going to try to defend him a lot stronger and cover him and double and stuff like that. But I still think a lot of it has to come down to more creative play calling, trying to scheme these guys open. And Doug Peterson's shown that he can do that. He took over in that game and showed that he can still do that. So hopefully you see a bit of it. But the Jaguars have a lot to figure out, that's for sure.
Shout out to Andrew Beck, fullback, getting a nice big return touchdown there after he muffed it.
That was
good
awesome.
stuff there. A team that's not good stuff. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Deciding to pull their season a little early. We see this every year that the Cowboys go hypey all the way up to the top, and then all of a sudden they crash and burn when they play a real team. Well, when they play Josh Dobbs in the Arizona Cardinals, they decide to lose by double digits. And I know this is coming off the back end. Spoiler alert, another injury, another season-ending injury.
Yeah, we are getting
Trayvon
into
Diggs.
dangerous territory. We are just some really bad luck so far.
Not one, but 2. Mike Williams as well out for the season. Oh my God. This team looked terrible the entire game. And a lot of it was the defense. The defense just could not get anything on Josh Dobbs and James Conner, who were lights out that whole game. But that defense is going to struggle with Trayvon Diggs out of there. I like Stephon Gilmore a lot. Obviously, he's had a well-accomplished career. He is not a cornerback 1, and he was not brought in to be a cornerback 1 at this point of his career. He's old, and they do not have anyone else that can come in and fill that role. And you can see teams are throwing on their head now.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a real issue when it comes down to it because when this team panics, it gets ugly really fast. And I don't know what's going to happen because the play calling has been really rough. Mike McCarthy took over. It's been very conservative, which has helped Dak, but has also not helped this team in the red zone. They have one of the worst efficiencies in the red zone this year. They had 10 plays in the red zone, 10, and they ended up with 3 points. And then at the end of the game, Dak throwing a pick, a horrible pick, his first of the season, just reverting, and it's not looking good in Cowboys territory.
Look, I want to talk directly to the Dallas Cowboys here. This is advice, and you don't have to take it. Who the hell am I? What do I know? Take all your phones, all your TVs, everything. Turn them off. Mute the word Dallas Cowboys so you don't see it. For some reason, whenever everybody starts to believe in this team, that is exactly when they decide to show that they're not serious anymore. It was the Arizona Cardinals, who by all means, shout out to them. Jonathan Gannon has these guys playing so hard, with so much heart. They could have been 3-0. They were in every game. You barely lose to the Giants, and then you pump the Dallas Cowboys. That is so impressive, but that says so much about this Cowboys team. You talked about the red zone offense just not being efficient. You don't know what's going on with the play calling. Dak Prescott throws it right to Kaiser White when he has nobody in that area. To the left of Kaiser is an open receiver, but he decides to throw it right at him on the right side. I don't really understand why. And then Micah Parsons has been, I like his whole podcast thing. I like him talking on Twitch. Really cool, but he's doing a bit too much of it, in my opinion, at this point. Talking about like when we play the Dolphins in like week 14 or whatever, if Tyree comes my way, I'm going to put him into the 10. First of all, that's a bit much. But I just think you're focused too much on the other stuff. You're focused too much on the hype. Go out there and win ball games. We are believing in you. People want to believe in the Cowboys being good. So you can't have losses like this. In some ways, I hope it's good for the Cowboys. I hope it's a bit of a reality check and it's not just the whole same old Cowboys. But it's hard for us to believe that because usually when this happens, it's the same old Cowboys. Yep. So I don't really know what to make of it, but I have faith that this Cowboys team is talented enough, even with the brutal injury to Trayvon Diggs, that they can do something with this squad. They still have playmakers. They still have ballers. You just have to go out there and bounce back from this to show that you're real.
There is now just 4 teams left that are 0-3 in the season, and coincidentally, they all play each other next week.
Yeah.
So, who's going to be the last 0-3 team going out of this season? Because there's going to be 2 left, and everyone thought it was going to be the Cardinals, and it's not. Who do you think? Because I think it's going to be the Bears.
It is without an absolute doubt that it will be the Chicago Bears. And I was going to do this for a 2-minute warning, but we'll talk about something else. I need to talk to the people right now. Chicago, change it. Change everything. The word the Bears, Chicago Bears, the logo, the name, the brand, the history. Get rid of all of it. It's done nothing for you. You have no actual history. You guys won one Super Bowl in the ancient era. You went to another Super Bowl and got dusted by Peyton Manning over a decade ago. This team does nothing. Who's the most memorable quarterback? Probably not somebody from this century. Walter Payton's probably one of your best players. The best player of the past 2 decades was Brian Urlacher. Your best receiver is who? Alshon Jeffrey? Allen Robinson? DJ Moore probably ranks in the top 5 receiving yards, and he just joined the team. You have no history, no legacy anymore. It's just cursed. Taylor Swift was there. Take a page out of her book. Shake it off. Get rid of it. This team needs a blank space to kind of figure it all out. Reset. The Cubs take over the Bear logo. They've had the Bear logo. They won a World Series this century. Let them worry about that. Chicago Bears, get rid of it. Do something else. You need to look at yourself in the mirror. Matt Nagy, Justin Fields, that whole team. I'm the problem. It's me. Look at yourselves and be real about it. Chicago needs a full reset, and I think it starts with that team name. Just the Bears ain't doing it.
Matt Nagy, you're living in the past century. He's not on that team
I don't even know
anymore.
their coaches anymore. That's how relevant they are.
Eberflus?
Matt Eberflus. Oh my God, that's even worse. You guys just haven't had anything going for you that I can't remember your coach's name because there's been so little to be hype about. You had decent expectations coming in. Just figure it out, restart, get rid of everyone, get rid of the name, logo, colors, everything, start over.
You're throwing out a hot take. I'm throwing another one. Justin Fields is going to be a backup quarterback next year. He's not starting this year. They need to tank everything, trade Fields away, do whatever you can to get Caleb Williams because clearly Fields is not the answer, and they need something going forward because nothing is working out for them. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't want to say any more on the Chicago Bears. That's enough.
That wraps it up for the Rewind. Be on the lookout for other stuff coming out this week as On the Table with Mike Collins and as well, as always, the Fantasy Team of the Week with Carter Smith. But that wraps it up for Zulfi and I here at Redzone Rewind. Catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Bye.